Numbers 21, 22, and 23 are all using this illustration to answer those three questions. Again, you will not have a construction that you have to do on your test, but you will have pictures of constructions that you'll have to answer questions about, which is exactly what we're doing on these three problems here. So remember, an angle bisector is simply a figure, a segment, a ray, or a line that is cutting an angle into two congruent parts. And so this segment DA is an angle bisector of angle BAC or angle CAB. But we're going to justify how we know it's creating these congruent parts based on the steps of the construction. So if you'll remember, and it tells you in number 21, your first step of your construction is to draw this arc BC. You're going to center your compass at point A, which is the vertex of the angle. So you would put your hole, which is what we have as the center of our compass, on A and draw an arc that goes through both sides of your angle. So since you're using that same setting on your compass to draw that one arc, you know that point B is the same distance from A as C is. And so by doing that one arc, we have created two congruent segments, AB congruent to segment AC, which is exactly what is asked in number 21, and that would be answer choice B. By drawing that arc, segment AB and AC are congruent to each other. The next thing we're going to do is move our point of our compass from the vertex to either one of these points of intersection, B or C. And we're going to draw an arc from that point inside the angle. The important part when you draw this arc is that you have to use that same setting from the other point of intersection. So once you make that arc from point B, you're moving your point of your compass to C and using that same setting to draw this arc. And so again, if I connected point B to point D, I would know that this distance is the same as point C to point D, since I used the same setting on my compass to draw both of those arcs. So I can now mark these two parts congruent. Well, if you notice, when we draw the angle bisector, we're actually creating two triangles here, triangle BDA and triangle CDA, which I would know are congruent triangles without even marking the angle bisector angles being congruent yet. Since I have these two pair of angles that are congruent, and I have a shared side that I know is congruent to itself by the reflexive property, I know these two triangles are congruent by the shortcut that's called SSS, since all three pairs of sides are congruent. So remember, we then know, since the triangles are congruent, that all the corresponding parts of those congruent triangles are congruent. So we've just proven how we know that this construction works to make this angle congruent to this angle. So now I can conclude that the bisector of triangle BAC creates these congruent parts of these angles, which is angle BAD, that angle, which is congruent to angle CAD, that angle, and that is choice C. So we use the steps of the construction to prove that these two triangles are congruent by SSS to then show, yes, this construction does bisect that angle, since the corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent.